Hey, it's your boy Easy, and on today's episode of Easy Opens, we're going to be taking a look at the Neca Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Archie Adventure Series Dreadmon figure. He's so fast. He's so fast. Up. Whoa. So now let's take a moment to marvel at the beautiful box art that NECA has just orchestrated with this, and it is fantastic. Now, it's no secret, I'm a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Archie Adventures fanboy. We, on the podcast Turtle Soup, we read through this and we were blindsided by it. We loved it so much. It was so good. And not only were the stories excellent, but the art was amazing. It just has that slight Disney-esque kind of art to it. Like there's something about the eyes and just the face. Something just brings these characters to life, much in the same way that a lot of traditional Disney animation does. And yeah, that's really awesome. And this box is completely adorned with artwork from none other than Ken Mitroni, if the bottom of the box is to be believed, which is really awesome that NECA is putting credits on the bottom of the box. That's amazing. I love that. And so, yeah, Ken Mitroni killing it again with this art, and I absolutely love it and cannot wait to get a full set of the Mutanimals and any other Adventures characters that we're going to get from this line. Cuddly. Excuse me. And yeah, cannot wait for that. And so this is excellent, and NECA has once again done an amazing job representing this artwork and this character. All right, so some fun facts about Dreadmon. He first appeared in TMNT Archie Adventures issue number 15, The Howling of Distant Shadows, from October 1990. And real quick, so basically on Dreadmon, Dreadmon was a native of South Africa, then moved to Jamaica and into poverty, which led to thievery. He ends up stealing a talisman that transforms him into a part man, part wolf, with the normal fare of superhero traits, but tends to lean heavily on his super speed. He then befriends the TMNT and soon joins the mighty Mutanimals to become their second in command. Alright, so now let's get this figure free from its plastic prison and see what we think about Dreadmon. So this figure looks amazing. His face looks so lively, and I think it's due again because the art in NECA's just basically replicated that in 3D form. It has such a Disney-esque liveness to him. And I think it's in how big his eyes are and how wide his grin is. I don't know. He just looks like the goodest boy. You know what I'm saying? Like you just want to pat him on the head and like give him a treat. But then now that I say that, like he's actually a person, so that might be a little weird, especially nowadays. Although I'd like to think he'd be okay with it, but if he wasn't, he's so quick, you wouldn't even know that he had a problem with it because you'd be in the afterlife before you had a chance to second guess yourself. So one way or another, it'll work out. So that's probably fine. But nevertheless, he looks great. And as soon as I got him out of the package, I knew that standing him would be a problem. And it kind of was. Took some getting used to, but once I figured it out and got used to him, we got acquainted and I learned, likes, dislikes. We kind of got to know each other a little bit more. He started standing on his own a lot better and more effortlessly. And speaking of standing, this figure stands at around 6.5 inches tall. And now let's go ahead and get into some of the paint and sculpt on this figure. Now, there's not a lot of detail in the torso area, but that is kind of by design. That's the way the character looks. The arms and legs look great with the fur that is sculpted into them. And then his hair is so big and so glorious. Like, I wish my hair would do stuff like this. Like, it would just be amazing. I don't know that I could pull off so much of it living in Florida because it's just too hot, but his looks amazing and I'm happy for him. However, on the downside, that is probably going to hinder articulation, but we'll get into that in a minute. The hard lines and spots on his, like all over him, more or less on his knees and his legs and his arms, they really help to subtly make the figure pop and that's really cool. Now, as per usual, the joints on mine were a little stuck. Not as bad as some of them I've had, but still, you might want to get that water boiling or the hairdryer going and just go ahead and do that and not risk breaking this figure. All right, so moving on to accessories. We've got 6 pairs of hands, 2 bananas that I swear smell like real bananas. You can check me and tell me in the comments if I'm right or wrong, because I don't know. It might be psychosomatic, but it definitely felt like they smelled like bananas. It felt like they smelled like... Whatever, you know what I'm saying. They come with alternative, menacing, evil-looking eyes, which are really awesome. They just kind of like pull out, and you can switch them in and out. I had a little bit of trouble getting it in at first, but then after I played around with it for a minute, I figured out what you had to do, and it was pretty simple. It's very much like if you're familiar with changing faces on a lot of Figma characters that you might have, and it's very similar to that. They also come with a malignoid baby, a basket of meats and fruit offerings, a canister, and a tombstone that I swear smells like a tombstone. So the malignoid baby is from Mighty Mutanimals #1, the mini-series, where an asteroid lands on a beach near Dreadmon and Jaguar as they're just doing their thing, and all of a sudden it cracks open and there are a ton of these malignoid babies. It's just wild. The Tombstone and bananas are from Mighty Mutanimals #2 in the miniseries, where Dreadmon's explaining his origins, and like you see him like fighting some zombies in a graveyard, hence the tombstone. And then the next scene is he's just chilling on a banana boat, just eating some bananas, living the life. The basket of meats and fruit offerings are from the people that provide offerings to Dreadmon to appease him, and that's from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Archie Adventures #15. Also, real quick, the back liner, I don't know what you'd call it, the insert, I guess, the background of the inside of the box is more or less a scene from page 13, from issue 15, where you actually first really get to see Dreadmon, like, show up. And that's really rad, and I love the fact that they included that. The only thing I'm not really sure about is where the canister comes from. So if I was loud and wrong about any of these, or if you know where the canister comes from, please let me know in the comments, because I like to get these things right. So yeah. So now let's go ahead and talk about some articulation that you're going to get out of Dreadmon. So first off, he's got some head articulation, neck articulation, I guess you could say. It's on a ball joint that you can wobble around. He can look left and he can look right, but like the back of the hair is definitely going to hinder his movement there because it's so long. He also has a joint in the up at his neck, but I think mine might be a little stuck, and I don't really see a need for me to get him down any lower. So I haven't really messed with that, but that does appear to be an option if you need that. His jaw is articulated, so you can get a little bit of movement with his mouth. I think it's adequate an amount. I mean, I don't think he needs to go much further than that, but still pretty neat. And yeah. Then you got 360 at the shoulder. You have 360 at the bicep. And you would have 360 at the elbow. You kind of sort of do. Actually, yeah, I think you can. Yeah, you can get me to do it. So you get 360 at the elbow. This little tuft of hair might hinder some articulation, but I was able to get past it just now, so you should be fine. And then 360 at the wrist with some swivel. He also has the joint at the elbow as well, so he can bend and turn. Let's see. You get some swivel at the waist. Actually, you get 360 at the waist. And he can move forward and back just a little bit, but not a whole lot. Nothing to really write home about there. Legs, awesome. Can do really good splits. And gosh, this looks really bad. But he's got some range with his splits. His tail. is plugged in, so it's got 360, and it's got a joint that you can bend it and, you know, twist it, turn it, bop it, anything you need to do with its tail. And legs, you get some thigh swivel, but as you can see, some of these, mine are actually kind of stuck right here, so I kind of need to fix that at some point. But yeah, your mileage may vary with that, but nevertheless, the option is there. You get double jointed knees, and you also get a joint. I don't know what the technical term is for this. I guess it would be called the ankle joint, or an ankle swivel. And so that's really cool. And then you get a toe joint, effectively, that's just, you know, can enable it to bend. And I do believe that is all the articulation you're going to get out of Dreadmon. All right, so now let's see how he compares to some other figures you might have in your collection. So here he is with Archie Adventures Man Ray and Slash from Neca. Here he is next to the knockoff colored bandana Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Here he is next to the NECA SDCC carrying case Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Here he is next to Hasbro's Marvel Legends Killmonger and the Orb. Here he is next to Super 7's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimates Metalhead and Slash. Here he is next to Masters of the Universe Classics Optic and McFarlane's DC Multiverse Killer Croc. Here he is next to Jazzware's Peely and SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Baron. And here he is next to Hasbro's G.I. Joe Classified Crimson Guard and Power Rangers Lightning Collection Blue Centurion. So I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way right now. I absolutely love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Archie Adventures comics. They're amazing. If you haven't read them, go right now, read them all. They're fantastic. I was completely blindsided by how good they were going to be when we reviewed them for this thing over here, the podcast. But both me and my co-host thought they were going to be just rehashings of the 1987 animated series episodes, and it more or less starts off that way. But very quickly, it takes a turn and introduces so many really cool characters, just from some very diverse backgrounds and all this really cool stuff. And Dreadmon is one of those early, like, here you go, here's something really cool that you haven't seen before on the animated series, and you get it here. He's really awesome, and he's going to be part of the Mutanimals. You don't know about them yet, but you're gonna love them. You're gonna, one way or the other, everyone's gonna love them. And if you don't, well, actually, it turns out they didn't. And in fact, spoiler alert from like, I don't know what, like 20, 30 years, they sent them to hell because not enough people liked them to continue the book. So thankfully, the good people at NECA reached down into the pits of hell and revived Dreadmon in full 3D plastic glory for our awesome TMNT shelf that we are now building for the Adventures line. And that is a dream come true for me. And not only that, they managed to bring Ken Mitroni's already very much lifelike artwork to even more life, to lifer. Like, did they lifer it? Did they give it more? I don't know. One way or the other, they got Ken Mitroni's artwork to just come to life more than I ever thought it could. And I am over the moon with this figure because this is just such a really good representation of this character. And like I said, there's not an excruciating amount of detail here. Not to say that it isn't detailed, but the artwork, you know, the chest and the skirt, there's not a lot of detail there, but the fur and all the hard lines and everything make it look like it just popped off the comic. And that's what you want from this line, and NECA does an amazing job at doing it, and they've done it again here with Dreadmon. So the only issues I had with this figure were getting accustomed to how it would stand, because it has the kind of canine, I guess that's the right way to say, like type of feet, or like lupine, like a werewolf, like what you'd expect from like a werewolf kind of figure. That's like the full body, not just like a head, or like a Michael J. Fox kind of werewolf. Like, I guess that's a teen wolf. I need to brush up on my wolf isms. Anyway, there's a technical term for it, but essentially it's like the dog feet, like kind of like how the legs, the animal feet, you could say. I don't know. There's probably a better word for it. And then a thing that I really didn't think about until I was taking pictures of it was that the tail being under the skirt makes things a little difficult for him to sit down. However, it is split kind of near where his tail is inserted at, and it is articulated there. So you can raise it up and have him sit, but it's kind of a weird kind of thing, but it's not really that big a deal because this is a speedster character. He's not a sitter character, you know what I mean? Like, you're not calling him to be like, hey, sit here and watch this. No, you call Dreadmon to be like, hey, go do something real quick, you know? So, yeah, so that's really just something I noticed, but it's not a big deal at all. But what is a big deal are the optional eyes that they included, and I am all about this, and I hope that they can implement this in some other characters, because I think this is something that is really cool and really a real simple, you know, replacement kind of part that changes the character in such a vast way that is I wasn't expecting, and I really love how seamlessly it goes into how it transitions, and I just am really all about this, and would kind of sort of prefer this to an extra head sometimes, especially with Dreadmon, because like if you had to all that hair again, like have two of that, like where are you keeping that? Like you're gonna have, you know, we only got so much space, Neca, so you know I appreciate you going this route instead of giving us another head for Dreadmon just to change the eyes. So thank you for that. And Dreadmon, with either eyes that you choose to put on him or in him. I guess you're putting them in him because they go into him, into the plastic. Yeah, so it's probably in him. He looks fantastic with all of the TMNT animated series line, but especially good with his Adventures buddies, and that's really exciting. So if you're looking for a cool lupine werewolf-esque figure, here you go. This is awesome. If you're in need of a wolf-like beast to torment your Disney characters, this one could probably do the trick. And if you're looking for just a weird kind of mutant-esque looking character that can fight your Ninja Turtles, then you need to get this Dreadmon figure because he's awesome and your turtles are going to love him. All right, well, that's going to do it for me today. Thanks so much for watching, and if you liked what you saw, please hit that like button, and if you want to see more from me, please hit that subscribe button as well. And also in the comments, let me know, who's your favorite Mutanimal? Did you enjoy the Archie Adventure series as much as I did? And what do you want to see the most? Like, what's the most obscure character from the Archie series that you're hoping that Neca gets to very quickly? I want to know all that because I love talking about the Adventure series, and I love talking about toys, and I love talking about turtles. And so if you want to hear me talk more about those things, you can do so by following me on, again, this thing over here, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. No, that's not the name of my show. Turtle Soup Podcast. That's it. There we go. You can find us on YouTube as well as wherever you find podcasts. My friend Ryan and I do a couple of hour show talking about the turtles at least once a month. And yeah, so if you're so inclined, please head over there. We really appreciate it. And so yeah, until then, Elsetime.